The answer for most people is gonna be the Nintendo Switch 2, and it will be the right answer for them. It's just that the Switch 2 will most likely sell tens of millions of units in its first year or two. The Steam Deck currently has only ever sold 4 million lifetime. Statistically, you're just probably gonna be a Switch 2 guy. As much as I love the Steam Deck and all these PC handhelds, they're just not mainstream, not yet anyway. The Switch 2 is kind of just the mainstream PC handheld, which is awesome. A lot of the benefits that we've been seeing in PC handhelds might also be present in the Switch 2. Game compatibility, raw power, all that stuff, with a slight benefit of having that mainstream appeal so that developers might actually be motivated to optimize their games specifically for the Switch 2. But that isn't to say that the Steam Deck and these other PC handhelds don't have their own benefits. To some of you, that'll be the answer. The versatility of having your games wherever you want. If you don't own a gaming PC already, a Steam Deck is a great way to take your PC games on the go. The Steam Deck is a great ancillary console to have. But the Switch has also been that. I love my PC handhelds, and I've kind of fallen out of love with my Nintendo Switch. But that's not because it's bad or I don't like it. It's just gotten kind of boring. The Switch 2 is nice and fresh and cool. I will most likely love my PC handhelds and my Switch 2 equally, and for different reasons. The Nintendo Switch desperately needed a technical update. I was honestly not expecting Nintendo to provide this much of a spec bump. Current Switch owners will be very impressed. Steam Deck owners will also be a little bit impressed, if they can put aside their animosity for a second. Windows handheld users will probably only be a little impressed. Nintendo is really, really good at optimizing their first-party games to take full advantage of the hardware. Third-party games will probably look an awful lot like how they look on something like an Ally X, although sometimes with some slight optimizations. Steam Deck people are used to having the more powerful portable console. It's going to be a little weird to be technically behind, even if it is just a little bit. If you want to be able to brag about the raw power that your $500 handheld has, then the choice between the two isn't really all that clear as of right now. The choice, like a few months from now, or maybe even a year from now, might be a little more clear, because I would imagine that some of these PC handhelds, or maybe even the inevitable Steam Deck 2, might be able to outclass the Nintendo Switch 2 eventually. But raw power doesn't really mean all that much to people. It doesn't mean all that much to me. If it did, I would have a 5090. I only care a little bit about high resolutions and frame rates. I mostly want to play great games that run great. This is the dilemma that most people will have. As different as these devices might be, they are comparable devices. Should I get the one that plays most of my Steam library? Or should I get the cool new thing that plays a different library? Do I want something with the versatility of being able to play virtually any PC game? Or do I want something that just works right out of the box, requires no thinking, has optimizations, but is limited to Nintendo's own library and compatibilities? It's honestly a pretty difficult choice. This video is sponsored by Factor. Hey, I'm gonna order food. No, I'm good. What are you doing? Cheerios in a Solo cup. Don't let the dog do that. Are you gonna rob him of this joy? Can I get you some real food? Are you talking to me or the dog? I'm gonna get you something. Okay, thank you. Sit. Yep. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Skip the grocery store prep work and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-curated, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. And they've even got smoothies and juices and also wellness shots. Having Factor in my fridge and ready to go all of the time has kept me a little healthier, because now I don't just forget to eat. I can just pop it in the microwave if I'm in a real hurry, or I can throw it in the oven
for like 7 minutes. You can try it for yourself over at factor75.com and use code 50YAHUNGRY to get 50% off of your first Factor box and free shipping. That's 50YAHUNGRY? Now isn't that better? Oh, you're right. This is so much better. Zim, come here.
Stop letting him do that.
Oh, what are you, the fun Gestapo?
The console wars are back in a really weird way. The big three console manufacturers largely decided to step out of each other's way during the Nintendo Switch 1 generation, and it took a little while for console fanboys to kind of understand that and then fall into their own respective niches. But now there's this really weird thing going on. There were some people who just weren't into the idea of a Nintendo Switch. Maybe those people were PC gamers. Some of them became really interested in the Steam Deck for one reason or another. It could play a lot of the same games that they're already playing on their computer. It's a pretty cool device. They really, really liked the fact that their $400 handheld was undoubtedly more powerful than the more popular handheld that was currently on the market. Come June, that will not be the case anymore. And some of these people are pissed. The Switch 2 isn't going to wildly outperform the Steam Deck, but some of these optimizations might make certain games run a little better. I gotta sneeze. Oh, thank you. Cyberpunk will for sure run a little better on the Switch 2, especially in TV mode. But looking at it in ROG Ally X might get us a little bit of a better idea of how a game like that would perform on the Switch 2. But the Ally X is the price of a PS5 Pro. The Switch 2's performance is very impressive. This is thanks to CD Projekt Red's optimizations and DLSS whenever they enable that. I don't think it was on for the preview event that I attended when I was playing it. It's going to be really interesting to have an NVIDIA handheld with architecture similar to a PC graphics card. Adapting some of these games from the PC to the Nintendo Switch will be way easier now with that architecture. It will also allow for NVIDIA-specific optimizations like DLSS, something we have never seen in a PC handheld up until this point. There's other things like AMD FSR and the Intel X-Sex. It looks like sex. But there are no NVIDIA PC handhelds, as far as I know. I just did a quick Google search, and Google's AI says, yes, DLSS can be used on PC handhelds, especially those powered by NVIDIA hardware. What, like the Switch? They mean the Switch. The AI sucks. Another advantage that the Nintendo Switch will have is that it's going to be immensely popular, and developers will be more motivated to optimize their games specifically for the Nintendo Switch because of how popular it will be and the payoff that they will have. This isn't to say that you should just throw out your Steam Deck or anything. I think the performance difference in like third-party games will probably be negligible, especially in handheld mode. In docked mode, things might lean a little bit more towards the Nintendo Switch 2. There are a lot of reasons why you might want a Steam Deck or a PC handheld over a Nintendo Switch 2. Whenever deciding between two consoles, I always encourage people to make a T-chart. And at the top, write the name of each console that you're deciding between. And on the bottom, list all of the games that each of those consoles will have or can play. The one that has more games that you want to play is the console for you. It's really that easy. Modern AAA PC games are starting to demand a lot more power than the Steam Deck can provide. It can run Indiana Jones, for example, but will you enjoy it on there? I can see this being an issue with the Switch 2 soon as well. But if that's the case, AAA games that struggle just won't release for the Switch 2. On the Steam Deck, you can at least still give the games a shot and like try to get them to work. But not everyone wants to do that. There are a lot of games that work pretty good on the Steam Deck after some tomfoolery. And I know not everybody wants to do that tomfoolery. I don't really mind it that much, but I could see where those people are coming from. Having a curated list of games that are at minimum in a playable state can be a huge benefit of the Nintendo Switch 2. These games will just work right out of the box. But having the room to experiment and try some things out can be really appealing on the Steam Deck too, if you want to go down that road. Nintendo is really good at making hardware. Not that the hardware is ever at the bleeding edge. It's just always really well designed. The Switch 2 is a sleek, thin tablet. The Steam Deck is big and unwieldy. Most PC handhelds are. I'm excited to have something with this much power in this type of slim body. The screen has been a point of contention to a lot of people. It's not an OLED screen, which is a bummer to some people. The screen being 1080p and 120 hertz is a massive plus, though. Having variable refresh rate is also huge for a low-powered device like this. Games will almost never hit that 120 frames per second mark. So being able to have the screen's refresh rate match whatever random number the game is outputting will be huge for allowing games to look nice and smooth. The Steam Deck does come in an OLED flavor, but it only reaches up to 90 hertz and does not have variable refresh rate on the built-in display. 90 hertz is honestly totally fine for a device of this power and size. To make up for variable refresh rate, you do have the ability to lock your frame rate very easily at any time. This is a great way to smooth out the gameplay. But again, this is another example of the Steam Deck being a DIY console, whereas the Switch 2 will be more than it just works kind of situation. OLED is undoubtedly better for getting very immersive black levels. From the preview event, you can very easily tell that the Switch 2 screen has a big backlit panel. But honestly, the HDR does help bring back a lot of that contrast. OLED would be better, but I'm happy with just 120 hertz and variable refresh rate. If OLED is a deal breaker for you, the Steam Deck is right there. Just get the Steam Deck. I'm giving a lot of points to the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, but I have to be honest, when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, I'm honestly still going to be buying most of my games on the PC to then use on my PC handhelds or my Steam Deck. As much as I like the idea of the Nintendo Switch 2, I still don't see myself fully converting into a Nintendo Switch 2 guy, although I could be wrong, because I was wrong about the Steam Deck when that first came out, and I switched from a Nintendo Switch 1 guy over to a Steam guy. But I don't see myself going backwards into a Nintendo Switch 2 guy. It's just so much more versatile to me to be able to buy my games on Steam or on PC and be able to still play them on virtually any device that I want. On the Nintendo Switch 2, you're relegated to the eShop and the Nintendo Switch 2. And you know how much I love to just swap between devices. So Steam is just a much better ecosystem for me. But the largest reason I'm excited about the Switch 2 is for Nintendo's own first-party games. I'm not even a Mario Kart guy, but I'll be trying it. Seeing the focus being on grinding rails, did they spill Sonic Adventure 2 Battle into my Mario Kart? I'm also a sucker for Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah, I can emulate all those games, but certain things just hit different when they're official. The e-reader levels on Mario Advance 4 being an official release, that just feels so good. And I absolutely need Mario Maker in my life. I don't love every first-party Nintendo game, but the ones that I do love, I love a lot. So I need a first-party Nintendo machine in my life. For everything else, though, I like having the versatility of being able to play them on my desktop PC right here or on my any plethora of PC handheld devices or my Steam Deck. And even these PC handheld devices have versatility within themselves. Take the Lenovo Legion Go, for example. It's a Switch-like with its detachable controllers. But for me, I 3D printed a controller and turned it into a clamshell. It's a whole thing, but that was my last week's video. Don't worry about that. Maybe you want Windows for some games, but you want the console-like experience of SteamOS for an all-around better UI. Well, you can just dual boot a PC handheld, like I have here on my Ally X. But that was the video from a few months ago. We've already covered that. Don't worry about that right now. My point is that I can just do a lot more with my Steam library, personally, than I can do with my eShop library. That is until Nintendo announces some wacky new changes. I don't even think they could ever come close to the versatility that Steam has. Family sharing, I buy a game once and everybody in my family can just play it. And then look at the version Nintendo has and all the uproar that everybody had with that. I used to get all of my games on the Nintendo Switch. I didn't even think about or bother with an indie game if I was interested in it, but it was on Steam. I was like, I'll wait for it to come to the Switch. At the time, I needed the versatility that this brand new hybrid console provided me. I needed to have the choice of being able to play it portably or play it docked, even though I was like 90% docked mode. And that's honestly the option for most people now, even with the Switch 2. That sort of versatility is huge. It's the ease of use and how simple it is to switch between docked and portable play. That will make the Switch 2 the answer for most people. Personally, that versatility for me has extended between my PC and my PC handhelds. Being able to swap between those has been huge for me. But I know that that's not ideal for most people. Most people just want one thing, and they don't want to have to think about it too hard. Docked mode on a Steam Deck or a PC handheld isn't always plug and play. Sometimes it wants to force 4K when it can't handle it. Sometimes external controllers are stuck on player 2. It can honestly be a huge nightmare. This sort of setup where I switch between a gaming PC and any of these billions of PC handhelds, this works best for me, but it requires at least 2 devices that will net you a lot more than $450. But some people just love gaming so much that they'll end up with everything. Those people click this video already knowing they're going to get every major console that comes out. The decision is easy for them. They will be getting both. But for those who need to choose one, I hope I've made it easier for you. It's really this simple. Look at this. Do you like messing around with performance settings? Some people do. Hey, what do you guys think about the Nintendo Switch 2 versus the Steam Deck or any plethora of these PC handhelds? Things are getting really complicated for consumers, but that's the thing, is that if the complexity is making you upset, get the Nintendo Switch 2. If you like the idea of being able to control your games a little more and have more versatility with the Steam ecosystem, or being able to tweak your games to get a little more raw power out of them, maybe look into a PC handheld. But if you're getting frustrated, just default back to the Switch 2. It's that easy. Leave it in the comments below, at me on Twitter, and all this other social media garbage. I hope this print I've been doing hasn't been bothering you on the mic. It's gonna take 3 days. It's a little cover for my humidifier. It's not relevant to this video. Next week, I will be talking about the Retroid Pocket Classic, which will hopefully be here, unless it's getting denied at the port, thanks to the import situation. Anyway, I stream here over on twitch.tv/wolfden and youtube.com/wolfden, usually on Sundays. The most important thing you can do to support this channel is subscribe and turn on that bell so you know when every new video comes up, and watch it. And make sure you're subscribed. You're probably getting my videos on the YouTube homepage and you're not subscribed. And share this video with a friend who's confused about what they should do. Thank you very much. Have a good week. I don't know why I saluted.